And the other big difference on this site, and I think on allotment sites nationally, is how they've become more recreational. There's also areas of land now on people's allotments which are just grass and maybe have play equipment or trampoline or things like that, which when I'm feeling less tolerant I do kind of disapprove of, really. It's for growing food, and if we don't use allotments to grow food, we'll lose them.
Well, my allotment produces food, but I don't have too many weeds, and I produce flowers and fruit and soft fruit. So I think probably about 60% of this is productive. On Scarcroft allotment, I was probably the first to seriously start using grass, because I wanted it partially as play space for the children.
Like with our kids, it's been an alternative play area, and they've had some fantastic sort of inventive play up here, which I don't know where else they would have done that kind of thing in a city.
So it started off with 2 separate dens kind of actually on our allotment, and then they sort of found this space at the back of the sheds, which was a big bramble bush.
We sort of made territory a bit, because I had that tree there, the bigger one, that's in front of the den, and Finn had the smaller one. And then it was just this bramble bush behind, but I saw this sort of hollow space in the middle, so we cut to it, and we found the bit for the potions, which we used for ages and we were so pleased with, but we hadn't even thought until we'd cut down a few other thorns of the whole den area.
From there has come all sorts of other spaces that they've developed, and the kind of climbing of the trees.
We found this old bucket, and we filled it with water and pond habitation and stuff, and then we found some frogs going along the ground. There's also newts as well, which we've newly discovered, and it's really got us into more wildlife. We started researching newts and picked up books in the library and stuff that we'd never even taken a second glance at, big wildlife ones, but we picked them up and we found them interesting, which is new. Yes, shock, but
And it's been lovely. And then when their sort of friends come over, we tend to do a lot of barbecues up here. Sort of in the good weather, we sort of barbecue probably every week up here on the weekend, and it's just really great. So I like to come to allotment, but they love to come. So if it's not me saying let's go, it's always them saying can we go.
but it sort of brings the family together more, because it's shared between the family that live in York and even the family that live in other places. They come down and visit. It's sort of like a meeting place, but also where you'd get your dinner, but also where you'd play with each other. It's given us more time to be a family, I think.
Well, when I first came to York about 10 years ago, I thought it would be a nice thing to do, because I've had property with land before, and we've moved into a terraced house here. They've got a tiny little plot, but it's just fun to do, and especially now Nikki and her family have moved up here from London, and they're quite adjacent, and it takes some of the workload off me. Brenda keeps it going as well, so it's gradually become more of a communal effort.
We've got Chris and Julia. Chris is the original allotment holder, and I used to work with both of them, so I took an interest because I was brought up in the country, so my dad always had a garden. I decided to come up and help them, and then they were going off to Spain for a whole year, and so they said, would you look after the allotment please, Brenda? And I was like, yeah, okay. Since then they're backwards and forwards to Spain, so when they're here it's great. And also Chris's daughter and family have moved up here, so they're now taking an interest. So there's quite a group of us really, which is great because we've all got different strengths.
So as part of our little team, the bit that I'm really good at is the hard digging. I'm not very good at planting, I'm quite good at weeding, but we all have our different strengths, and that has turned out to be an unexpected skill that I now have.
I come because my husband is the allotment holder, and I have to show willing, and I mainly come and do the picking because I cook. So when everything's grown, I'll come and pick stuff. And then I spent hours and hours cooking and freezing and jamming and all of those things. So eating really is my side of the thing, not the digging.
I come up because I'm the sort of unpaid hired help who just sifts the soil because I'm told that beds need doing, so I just get told what to do and I get on with it. But it's very it's very therapeutic and a nice place to be.
Every year is different because of the weather conditions, the soil conditions change. June, July, August, you're picking all your produce that you've grown. Sort of October, November, you're digging, deep digging to clear all the weeds and everything. We did that on a couple of the beds last year. Nikki in particular did a lot of work really crumbling the soil, and then we would put some manure on top and leave it for the frost to take it. We still have some vegetables growing in the winter, like the leeks, they stay in there. And then depending on the weather, there's nothing much to do till sort of March time, February, March, maybe start digging over again. As I say, depending on the weather, start planting, sowing a few seeds.